Welcome back, as I talk a bit more about making Doctor Who Battle Across Time. Today I'm going to look at sound effects. Okay, there's only so much I can really say about sound effects without actually playing some sound effects. But what I'll do is I'll start by just introducing some of the ideas, and then the remainder of this video will most likely be clips from behind the scenes and a few common sound effects that I use, and just general making of stuff that I didn't put into part 1 that people might still be interested in, such as overviews. With regards to sounds, I've got a few tips, really. I think very often you've got to make sure that there is something to hear in every single scene, even if it's supposed to be silent. I often think that you need to have some sort of atmospheric noise everywhere, however you achieve that. I've even found you can just record an empty room and you'll still get some sounds, and that is better than having a complete silence in a Rollercoaster Tycoon 3 video. In Doctor Who, there are layer upon layer of sounds. Most of them are taken directly from the TV show. You'll hear lots of machinery whirring, and these things were lifted from sound bites from the original TV series and the revamped TV series in 2005. The dialogue, or in fact monologues in many places, were ripped either directly from the show, since I have the DVDs and I simply recorded them using Mixcraft, like I'm doing now, and the other ones, in fact some of the Doctor and all of the scientists' words were recorded by me and then heavily edited later. I'm not a brilliant voice actor by any means, in fact I'm utterly rubbish, but with the help of some of the software that I've got, I managed to make it sound very robotic and alien, and I think it worked in the end, despite my poor ability at these things. The music as well, I think, is very important to a dark ride. This, again, was taken from the official Doctor Who soundtrack. In general, for other dark rides, I think that music is integral, even if you have it very quiet. I think most rides do require it, simply because even though in many rides you won't have music, you gotta keep in mind that in real rides you actually have the feeling of being on the ride. And I think that's what I essentially compensated for. In a real roller coaster, you can feel in your heart, in your head, in your whole body that you are going fast. In Rollercoaster Tycoon 3 you can't, so the only way you can really do that is to suggest it through music and pacing. People will, and I have seen them complain about oh, this music isn't in this ride in real life, but then in real life you can feel it. You can't in Rollercoaster Tycoon 3. So that's why all of mine have music, and that's also the importance of having the correct music as well. You don't just lump on any old track. I think my absolute pet hate is someone putting on some very recent and often very inappropriate electronic music or dance music or dubstep or whatever, and that's fine with many roller coasters, but so often it is so wholly inappropriate for the ride. The best place, I think, for anyone to get any soundtracks, and this is what I do nowadays, though I used to use popular music, or at least music that was popular with me, is to go through film soundtracks. Film soundtracks are an absolute godsend, and they are the best thing you can use, and TV soundtracks in this case helped very much as well. I made sure to carefully time and cut up bits of the soundtrack to Doctor Who, and then I placed them over important moments, mashed them together, and if there are any seams as well, I made sure to cover them up with sound effects so that you could still enjoy the ride and not notice the rather glitchy editing. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed my rambles about this ride, and I shall leave you with some off-ride special footage.